Hello. If this is your first time with us, welcome to Decanting Club. This week we have a Greek white, made by the most respected winemaker in Greece, Vangelis Gerovassiliou. It's made from the Malagousia grape, which he saved almost single-handedly from extinction, but that's a story for after we taste it. It's a medium lemon colour, which is actually quite deep for such a young wine. This is only 2015. This wine has seen extended skin contact after pressing and before fermentation to extract more aromas from the skins, and this also extracts additional colour. And there's a lot of aromas in this. I get apricot and jasmine, and then that's joined by a stony citric aroma of lemon peel, and there are herbal notes here too. A hint of fresh basil and new mown grass. It's really complex. The palate is pretty complex too. It starts out no more than medium bodied, but really builds in the mouth. This has power and texture. It's got complex sweet fruited flavours of melon and peach and even tangerine. There's a rich creamy mouthfeel going on. This is probably due to the oak fermentation I know this wine has had. It was partly fermented in old oak barrels, even though there's no overt vanilla-y oak flavours about this. Also contributing to that creaminess will be the lees aging this wine has had. After fermentation, it was left for a few months on the dead yeast cells, and this too adds creaminess. And then as we move into the finish, there's a hint of pear skin bitterness about this, again probably from the skin contact. And then that builds into the finish with a big hit of white pepper, so there's a big spicy mouth-watering finish here. This is a really characterful and distinctive wine, and it combines such a range of flavours. It starts off very much like a Viognier with that apricot and jasmine note on the nose, but then halfway through it shifts with the pithiness and pepperiness into tasting an awful lot like a Grüner Veltliner from Austria. This is consummate winemaking to put such a range of flavours and keep the wine balanced. It also shows why Malagousia deserves to be regarded in the front rank of white grape varieties. Greece has a huge range of indigenous varietal grapes. They've been making wine here far longer than the Italians or the French, but this one has a really short history. It was discovered only in the early 70s by Dr. Vasilis Logothetis, an academic who was travelling throughout Greece to discover rare varieties of grapes and to preserve them. And he found this one growing on a ruined pergola, a shade trellis, on an abandoned farm that had been deserted since the Greek Civil War of the 1940s. And he took some cuttings from it. And along with dozens of other cuttings he'd taken from rare varieties, he planted these in a vineyard he'd leased from the ambitious new domain Porto Carras. And enter the second hero of our story, who is Vangelis Gerovassiliou himself. At the time, in the mid-70s, he was the newly appointed young oenologist at Porto Carras, and he spotted the potential in this particular grape, Malagousia, even though there are only a couple of vines of it in the vineyard, and he started planting more of it. And by the late 70s, he was able to produce single varietal wines from this variety. And they were so impressive that the grape's fame and its cuttings spread throughout Greece, and today it's regarded as one of the two most important white grape varieties they have. The first vineyard to be planted with Malagousia outside of Porto Carras was on Vangelis's own family farm at Epinomi. His family were farmers. They'd grown grapes but hadn't made their own wine. So Vangelis built a winery. He planted that first vineyard in 81, made his first experimental vintage in 86, and 3 years later released the first wines. The business prospered, and 10 years later he was able to leave Porto Carras and devote his energies full-time to Kittimi Yerovasiliou. Catini means domain or estate in Greek. This wine is made from the oldest vineyards at the heart of the estate, the ones planted with Malagousia back in the 1980s. So it's therefore the nearest thing you can find to an old vine's Malagousia. I am so glad that they saved this grape for us, so close to extinction, and we have it here today. Let's raise a glass to Vasilis and Vangelis. Cheers!